What is up, guys? It's ya boy, Rick. I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere. Cactus here. Guys, thank you so much for stopping by. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button to support the channel, and let me know what you think my next intro name should be. That comment section is out of control. Alright, today we are going to be showcasing a weapon I think you guys should absolutely go out, grind for, and acquire, but you only have a few days left to do it. And that's because this is one of the old school Season 13 Nightfall weapons, and they are dropping this week only from the Disgraced Nightfall, and luckily it's double Nightfall loot. So your chances of acquiring these weapons is definitely increased, but if you want to get the Adept versions from doing the Grandmaster, again, you've got a few days until August 3rd to actually make that happen. The good news, guys, is I put out a guide on how to beat the Grandmaster as easily as possible, and using the exact loadouts I recommended in that guide, we have cut the time down. We are doing 13-minute Disgraced runs, so we are farming this thing really efficiently. But basically what happened is that I know everyone is sleeping on this weapon because I am sleeping on this weapon, or I was, because I totally forgot about a couple of factors, a couple of changes that happened that have made this weapon absolutely skyrocket in value, and it's going to continue to skyrocket in value within Season 15. So I was up till 4 a.m. grinding GMs until I got the roll I'm going to showcase in this video, which was a really bad idea because then I had to wake up at 8 a.m. to drive my wife to the airport. And if you're thinking, how the heck is this guy still functioning? How is this guy still speaking English? Well, it's because of that advanced GG focus, baby. The best and only clinically proven gaming supplement out there. Guys, there's a sale going on right now. Use code KHD25 for 25% off. You can get my flavor, Cactus Kiwi Lime. You can get M-Tash flavor, Frostbolt's flavor, Sir Demetrius's flavor, Travel Danielle's flavor. Support a huge amount of amazing Destiny content creators. Use the code, support my channel as well. It's a win-win-win. There's too many wins to count. Get on it. It's linked in the description down below. All right, but that aside, most people are going in to this Nightfall and going after a palindrome. And guys, that is a fantastic idea. If you don't have, especially an Adept palindrome, with the nerf that happened recently to 120 hand cannons, like, those are still good, but they're definitely worse than they were. And that means the absolute tippy top of the 140s, like the palindrome, especially with rangefinder, those things have gone up in value quite a bit, and they are starting to see more and more PvP play. So for me, I had an old quick draw rangefinder palindrome roll, fantastic roll, still good, but quick draw got nerfed, right? So it doesn't grant plus 100 mobility all the time. So I went and kind of replaced it here with Killing Wind, and I think that might be arguably a superior roll. But the weapon I'm actually going to talk about today is, of all three weapons, it's the one that people think are the worst. It's the Swarm Machine Gun. So here's why I'm talking about it. This right here, this was the God Roll from Season 13 when these weapons came out, and that was surplus to increase the reload speed. It was really the only relevant PvE perk in that first slot, and you combine it with Vorpal Weapon, and just that combo, faster reload, Vorpal Weapon on a machine gun, and at the time it was the only Adept machine gun, so it can get Adept Big One spec. That is very, very valuable. That was a great roll. Here's the thing. The Nightfall weapon layout has actually changed, and there is some big changes to specifically Bottomless Grief. Bottomless Grief used to be absolutely trashed here, right? Like, it just made it so that if you're the last alive in your fire team, you would reload every time you got a kill, and it would take up that main perk slot, as you saw with that Season 13 roll. But if we look at the new Season 14 rolls with this Uzume here, you can see the massive changes Bungie made to this perk. It's an additional optional perk, so you're always gonna get it every single roll, and now it provides plus 30 to your magazine constantly. So this Uzume roll, the God roll, actually incorporates Bottomless Grief, because then you just have an extended mag perk, you have Bottomless Grief and Vorpal, and you get to 7 rounds in the magazine. Now I could use triple tap, and that's going to be very good as well, but then my magazine goes down to 5, and I have to take off Adept Big One spec and give up that damage increase to put on a backup mag to get it back to 7. So arguably, the most consistent roll is just extended mag perk plus Bottomless Grief plus Vorpal, and then you get the damage bonus from Big One spec. And then I realized, holy crap, that exact same thing applies to the new Season 14 drops of the Swarm. So here is my brand new God Roll. Here is the God Roll I would recommend everyone out there go for. So you have an extended mag perk. Technically, extended mag is the best. You can see appended has it at 69, and then extended goes to 74. And then you have the new buffed Bottomless Grief perk for that plus 30 to the magazine. And you can see if I switch off of it, the magazine goes down to 60. So 74 rounds with extended and bottomless, guys, the literal cap. And you can see if I try to put on the backup mag mod, it goes to 75. I am 1 bullet away from the maximum magazine size for this archetype. And then obviously I end things off with Vorpal Weapon, and I get to use that Adept Big One spec again. So we can see now the differences between the God Rolls of Season 13 and Season 14. You know, I would way rather have that massive magazine size increase rather than a surplus, which is fine, but that's just going to influence your reload speed. That's really the only reason we were using it. And with something like machine guns, you're likely just not even going to encounter or need a reload within a damage phase. You are going to be shooting for as long as you possibly can. And this is a big deal. Like, a machine gun with 74 rounds now with Vorpal Weapon is huge. Vorpal Weapon is going to provide that consistent plus 15% bonus damage to elites and up. It says bosses, but it applies to mini bosses and it applies to champions. You'll see Vorpal Weapon triggers when you're damaging a champion. That is a big deal. And why is it such a big deal? Machine guns are getting buffed next season. So Season 15, Bungie has confirmed machine guns are getting buffed. And this weapon is in a perfect position to again skyrocket in value, because the only other machine gun in the game that can use Adept Big One spec and get that extra damage is just going to be the corrective measure from the Vault of Glass. Now that's going to be a lot harder to farm for, honestly, than the Swarm, and it doesn't have as good of rolls. Like, the best damage increasing perk it can get in that final slot when it comes to like boss DPS is actually just high impact reserves. And that's not considered very good, whereas Vorpal, again, it's always active, it's always consistent. Rewind rounds is going to be pretty good, but just like we saw with the Uzume, like, technically you might be able to output more damage with triple tap on that Uzume, right? But if you miss, you're screwed. And rewind rounds is kind of the same way. You need to be hitting precision shots to trigger it consistently. Bottomless plus extended, that doesn't care. That thing is just like, miss all you want, hit non-crits. It is every time you reload, you get 74 rounds in a mag. Vorpal is always active against bosses. You don't have to jump through any sort of hoops. And so you have an unbelievably consistent weapon. And I think this is really, really a weapon you want to have going into Season 15, because if that buff is anything substantial, or if we see machine guns as a featured gun type, like, imagine, guys, if it was machine gun anti-barrier rounds next season. The Swarm with the bottomless extended Vorpal plus Big One spec, like, that is going to be the absolutely perfect anti-champion weapon. That is going to be probably the best anti-champion machine gun, arguably, in the game. There are some other great options. The 7th Seraph Saw is definitely one, but that can't use Adept Big One spec. So if you're fighting normal yellow bars, you got to either choose between boss spec or major spec. You're giving up on 8% damage, which is certainly something, on one of those two enemy types. So again, I really kind of didn't realize how much better this swarm has gotten. Bottomless Grief just providing that magazine size bonus with certain weapon types. Uzume is one, Swarm is another, is very, very good, and it's actually exactly what you're looking for when you have these types of weapons. Guys, definitely go out and grind one. A lot of people are sleeping on this, but I don't think you should. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, found this interesting, found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.